Thank you. I hope everyone is enjoying this. This week has gone very fast. And then we come back from these wonderful lunches and we all get very sleepy. So we're going to be a little bit more interactive today in what we're doing. And I am talking about smart teaching, but we're using AI in the classroom. How are we using it? Why are we using it? Not just for our students, and there's a lot of talk about how students are going to use it, how we're going to use it for teaching, but how can we use this to help us as instructors, as teachers, and where can we go? Now, I'm going to give credit to a coworker of mine, Nancy Miller, who does an hour-plus long presentation with this. I've got 20 minutes, so you're just going to see a portion of what we're using it with. So how many of you here have a TA? Just a few. How many of you here would love to have a TA? Right, that's most everybody in the room. We want to do things. We want to have help. But you can't hire help for under $20 a month. Well, I'm fixing to show you how you can. So as you can see, this is my picture, and this is a QR code that links you to my webpage for LinkedIn, so you can connect with me. But on the other side, the right-hand side, that is an AI-generated avatar. I gave it my picture and said, create me an avatar. And this is what it come up with. So I can use this anywhere that I want. And it really works well with the students because it gives them something interactive that I can show them that they can quickly do. Right, so these are the big four, but I only use 3 of them. ChatGPT, you have a free version and a paid version. With Gemini, it used to be Bard, but now it's Gemini. There's also a free and paid version. Copilot took the place of Bing. And then Claude AI is one that's up and coming. It's a little bit more expensive and it's still in some trial and error. So it's working, and I use it a lot for research. But I only use the free version because it is a little bit more extensive. Okay, so things that you have to know in using AI, and I'm sure those that's in the generative AI track have been talking about this all week, but you need to be very specific, okay? It uses natural language, and I just did a video lecture this morning on natural language processing, but you have to be able to communicate with it so it knows what you're talking about. We're all from different regions of the country, so does it recognize my southern accent from someone who's from Washington State? There's a difference in how we talk. There's a difference in words that we use. How does it work? We have to look at the style of how we're writing, and we also have to assign a role. So I'm going to do all my demonstrations today using ChatGPT, the paid version, and I've got different prompts here. So this one is I want it to get to know me. So I'm going to copy and paste here a little bit just to save some time. So my ChatGPT, I give it a name. Her name is Lucy. So I start off every morning, good morning, Lucy. And the more polite I am, the more polite she is, and the more forgiving whenever I make typos. So I'm just going to paste this in, and basically it's saying that I'm a Southern girl, I'm from North Carolina, I'm a woman of faith, passionate and caring, I'm a daughter, an aunt, and a good friend. And this lets Lucy know who I am and what I'm doing. So as she structures answers for me, she can put it into my voice. Now, that doesn't mean that I just copy and paste her answers back, but it gives me a good starting point when I'm replying to things. And you'll see that she addresses me by name, just like I did her. And then she's noted the details. So how can she help me achieve a better work-life balance? So I can go in and ask her, what are some ways to fit exercise into my workday? And she'll come back with a list of things of what I can do, some that I can do in my office, short, intense sessions, walking, biking, taking public transportation instead of driving my car, even things here that I can do at my desk, such as stretching or doing little mini workouts. So it gives me a good list based on what I've told her about myself. And I am going to go a little bit fast just so I don't run out of time. Now, I'm using, like I said, the paid version. Lucy is my paid version. But you can do this on the free version as well. But can you get a TA for $19 a month? No. But using ChatGPT, Lucy is my TA. I ask her a lot of questions. Here is one of my prompts of can you design a course on AI, putting in fundamentals, ethics, machine learning, natural process, chatbots. They have 8 weeks with the first date being 8/19 with a module for week. And there needs to be an assignment for each module. So I can go out and I can ask Lucy this question, and in just a few seconds, I get an answer. Now we're on the guest Wi-Fi here, so it might take a little bit more. But you can see that she's giving me my whole schedule. Here's what I need to be doing in each week, just this fast. So the topics covered in every week and an assignment for every week. Now these are things that I can use as a basis to move forward, but things that I can also tweak and say, I like this, but I want to change this a little bit. Maybe I don't want a 500-word essay on the first module, but it gives me all 8 weeks with the topics covered and the assignment. You can't do that in 45 seconds sitting at your desk, not with your emails going off and everything. So now I can take this and say, can you give me a final exam for this same course? Because it knows what you've just asked it. And it takes from the previous prompt and says, okay, let's see if I can get you a final exam. Tells me I need 2 hours. And it starts scrolling down and giving me all of the questions based on what the assignments were that she created. Tells me what it is. So I can just copy that and then make changes to it, which is absolutely wonderful because she's taken a lot of the work off of me. And I did this, it's not part of the video or the process here because it does take a few extra minutes, but I recorded an hour-long lecture for one of my AI classes. I attached it and asked Lucy, use this video and create me a 20-question test. And in about 5 minutes, she had analyzed a full hour and created me a test and gave me the answer key. So that made it so much easier for me to start building the test and building the quizzes in behind it. And then I go in and ask her, can you create my rubric? And the final exam has to be 40% of the final grade. And if you have to have a rubric in your course, which most every college requires, this is an easy way of doing it. Okay. So here's my rubric for all 8 weeks, all the assignments, what the weight should be based on what my SLOs are. Okay. So it's a really good and easy way, and here is my answer key behind it. You can see in my multiple choice, my correct answers. They're varied. And then I can just ask her, can you give me the answer key for the final exam? And she'll return with all the answers because it builds one after the other. So it really makes what I'm doing, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sure we're all extremely busy, especially starting into a new fall semester, the new LMS, bringing new people on board, working with their students. This is a time saver for me. And it allows me to spend my time focusing on my students, not focusing on what I call the busy work of preparing the students. So now I've let Lucy provide me with a basis that I can move forward with. I can also do things, and this is one of my favorites. Every week I want to post an announcement to say, here's what you've got to do this week, so don't forget it. And I want to encourage the students. So I give her a prompt that says, I'm a community college professor, but can you create my announcements? And instead of having to remember to do them every week, I can ask Lucy to give me my announcements for the entire semester, and we do 8-week sessions. So here is every one. It gives me my subject line. It gives me, here's what my objectives are, a message to the students, and it ends with a positive note. I'm excited to embark on this journey with you. So all I need to do is, in the space of 10 minutes, I have all of my announcements created. All I have to do is copy and paste and put a date to release. So in 5 to 10 minutes, every course has their announcements for the entire semester. That is a huge time saver, because you get in on Monday mornings and think, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my announcements for the week. What happens? Your email goes off, your phone goes off, a student walks in. This is a time saver, because before I ever have a student in the class, their announcements are there. I post them, and then the LMS just releases them on the date that I say, here's my scheduled date. But Lucy knows what the assignments are because she helped create it. I can also upload a file and say, can you create announcements? And I'm going to show you how to do that. Is this little paper clip, of course, we all know is the attach. And out on my drive, I have a schedule for one of my courses. And let's say, Lucy, can you create announcements for the class based on the attached schedule? And this is a different class, so you can see the difference. It's not just recreating them. But it's taken the schedule that I've already created to say, these are my assignments, this is what I need to do for the week, and it's creating me the objectives, it's creating me the assignments due, it's telling the students when they're due, and then giving them that positive message. So if you're working from an already created schedule, you just attach it and say, please create my announcements. Help me create a grading rubric. So it will do what you ask it to do. The one thing I will caution is to make sure you go back and read through, because again, it's technology, garbage in, garbage out, right? So make sure you've uploaded the correct syllabus, or make sure you've uploaded the correct learning objectives, or what it is that you're doing. Proofread. Like we tell our students, please proofread. Teaching. We want to create PowerPoints. How many of you love to sit down and create PowerPoints for your lectures? I don't use a lot of PowerPoints for that very reason. I would rather talk it through. But I can ask her, right here's a prompt, can you help creating a teaching outline based on an attached presentation? And I'm going to attach this presentation that I'm working on right now. And then ask her to create me an outline for a 1-hour presentation beginning at 11 o'clock. And she gets it down to the minute, which is really great. 11:05 to 11:15, we're going to talk about this for 10 minutes. These are the topics we're going to talk about. 11:15 to 11:25, this is what we're going to talk about. And here's the objectives. Here's the things to make sure you cover. So if I'm looking at, I don't want to use a PowerPoint, but maybe my publisher has given me a PowerPoint, I don't always like to use theirs because they're so very wordy, that I can put this in here and say, use this PowerPoint and give me an outline. I'm going to lecture for an hour of the class or an hour and 20 minutes of the class. Can you give me an outline of what I need to cover and how much time to spend on it to keep me on track? Because if you've ever taken a class of mine, sometimes I can get talking about something and I get very passionate about it, and then I wind up 7 slides ahead, or I'm going down another path giving examples, and I need to drop and go back. This gives me a good basis of saying, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to do. Keep me on track. Lucy does a very good job of that. And I do encourage you, if you use ChatGPT, is to create a name for it. because it does become like your TA or a very good friend. Okay? This is one of the things that I get asked all the time, but it's not one of my favorite things, and it's to write a recommendation letter for a student. Okay? You remember about the student and you want to do it, but to make it sound the way you want it to sound, it can take time. So a quick and easy way is just to write a recommendation letter, and I've got in here that they've been in my classes for 2 years. These are the skill sets he's learned. This is where his work ethic. This is what kind of student he is. So I can put that in, and it gives me in a tone, because remember at the very beginning, we told her who we were, what we were about, so they get to know you, but then they start drafting this letter, and they draft it in your voice. And again, you would want to go through, proofread it, make a little change here and there, but it gives you a very good detailed letter. Okay? And one of the reasons you want to train it is to make sure it's in a professional environment. You don't want it to sound like you're just writing any general letter. You want it to sound very professional. But I could put in here, could you make this a little more southern? And she can, trust me, she can. I've had to go back and reintroduce myself before. It's like, you messed up here. As you can see, I hope this letter finds y'all well. Okay. So you can see it's a little bit different. I did change the name. This is one of my students, but I did change the name. But then I can tell it, oh, let's make it a little bit more professional. Take some of the southern ease out of it. Okay. So whenever you're looking at these things, you don't want to end your letter of a reference saying, okay, well, if y'all need anything else, if I'm talking to you, I'm going to say, do y'all need anything else? But right here, no, we don't want to do that. But it can give you a really good start, because I took one paragraph and now I've created a full reference letter. Okay. Email response, this is another one that I'm sure we all have those emails that we get. Oh, I'm sorry I missed the class, I missed this week's meeting. Can I have an extension? I know this is due. Well, sometimes I have to write and delete and write and delete and write and delete. So I can throw it in here and say, give me this professional email response, then I can tweak it a little bit. Okay? Makes it sound much better than me saying, you didn't tell me before you were going to be late, so it's too late for you to do it now. It takes some of the snarkiness out of it, and it allows me to go through and give a nice sounding email, but it's on a positive up note for the students, saying, thank you for letting me know. It is due on Monday, but here's a quick overview of what you need to do. So I have used that quite a bit, because there are some that I really just want to have a snarky email back to. Okay. This is one of the ones that's a fun thing, is to create a virtual background. We've all, since the pandemic, we're still using Zoom, we're still using Teams, maybe WebEx, to get those meetings going. And if you're sitting in your home office, it's different from your on-campus office, you might not want everybody to see, okay, well, I've got a cluttered bookshelf behind me, or there's a window behind me, or maybe it's just you're overlooking your kitchen and you don't want everybody to see what's in your house. Creating a virtual background. These are actually 2 backgrounds that I created, and I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. And I'm going to attach the file that I started with, which is a picture, one of my favorite pictures of a lake that I took. And it's just got the water and the trees and blue sky with white clouds. Somebody shout out something we want to add to our picture. Okay. So please create a Zoom background with the attached picture, including motorcycles. What else? Somebody else give me another idea. Did you say animals? Okay, I heard someone else over here say something. Okay. And I'm going to put and students. And it's going to take my picture, you can see my original picture here, and watch what happens with it. It takes it a second to generate because it's adding in everything that we wanted it to have. There we go. So you can see what my original picture is here. Here's a picture of the college, the students, motorcycles. There's some animals in here, some birds at the top, some ducks on the pond. So you can create whatever it is that you want to create. And it works very well. You just save this off your computer. So I just wanted to give just kind of an idea, an inspiration for you to go through and start using AI as your assistant. Make Lucy your friend, or whatever you want to call her or him. Make it your friend. Learn how to use it and how it can help you in the classroom. How can it help you take some of the busy work out of a very busy day so you can do what's important and focus on your students? Okay. And again, this is Nancy Miller, who created this session. Her and I worked together. We've worked together for a very long time. And I've been helping her do this presentation at other events. And we condensed it down. And like I said, I've went over maybe half of what she has in the original. So if you'd like to hear more, you can scan her QR code. This is her information. And she would be more than happy to present this either virtually or on campus if you want to contact her. So please reach out to her, and I wanted to publicly thank her for this. All right, I think we're at time. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. If you've got any questions, I'm here the rest of the week. But if not, you can always message Miss Nancy.